Here is the timeline and ancient history of dragons and other monsters in the world of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Let's get to it. Before 12,000 BC, the first creatures and monsters to be chronologically described were the giants and children of the forests of Westeros. 10,000 BC, Urax, an ancient dragon during the age of the first men, was killed by a dragon slayer called Serwyn of the Mirror Shield. This is one of the oldest human-dragon interactions in that world. 10,000 BC, dragons are also said to have once roosted on Battle Isle until the first high tower put an end to them. Not much is known about what kind of dragons, and if they were just wyverns. 8,000 BC, the long night begins whereby the deadliest monsters of the world of Westeros came from the north. These were the White Walkers, which are undead monstrosities. 5,000 BC, in the region of the 14 Fires, the first Valyrian dragons were hatched from dragon eggs discovered by the ancient Valyrians. With them came a golden age of magic and fire in Essos. 4700 BC, the Ghiskari Wars ended with the Fifth War, in which Old Ghiz is utterly destroyed by the Freehold. The Valyrians destroyed the city's walls and streets using her numerous dragons. 4000 to 3000 BC, somewhere during that time, Terex was a dragon ridden by Genera Belarius, and they both flew south to Sothorius, and she returned to Valyria after 3 years, having only found endless jungle, deserts and mountains. 700 BC, during the Second Spice War, after the Water Wizards killed 3 dragons, the Dragon Lords of Valyria responded by sending around 300 dragons to defeat a 250,000 strong army of the Rhoynar. 314 BC, using arcane arts, the Valyrians built a castle whose towers are shaped to look like dragons, giving it its name, Dragonstone, which later became the stronghold of House Targaryen. 120 BC, it is unknown as to what exact date the birth of Balerion the Black Dread actually is, but it was before the Doom and hence around 120 BC, since he was old enough to fly to Dragonstone. 120 to 100 BC, some of the small folk of Dragonstone claimed that a cannibal lived on the island even before the Targaryens arrived in 114 BC, which makes it around the same age as Balerion. 102 BC, the Doom of Valyria occurs whereby the entire freehold is destroyed by volcanoes and a resultant fire. This killed off most dragons except for the 5 Targaryen dragons and a couple of others. 90 to 60 BC, the first dragon to be born after Doom. The birth of Meraxes is not really exact and can only be estimated, but she was born before Vhagar and was the second largest dragon at that time. 52 BC, the second dragon to be born in Dragonstone. The birth of Vhagar is more precise, and she eventually became the largest dragon after Balerion died of old age. 220 BC, during Aegon's conquest, the 3 dragons were used to deadly effect, essentially becoming the winning factor. Balerion, Meraxes and Vhagar were adults and gigantic by this time. 10 AC, during the Dornish Wars, a scorpion bolt managed to pierce the dragon Meraxes in the eye and killed the dragon. This was the first dragon death in Westeros after the conquest. 11 AC, this was the birth of the first dragon after Aegon's conquest, and she was called Quicksilver. She was a beautiful dragon with silver white scales and spat out flames that were also white. 30 to 37 AC, the birth of the second generation Westerosi dragons, which were Vermithor, Silverwing, Sheepstealer and Dreamfire, all became deadly dragons by the time of the dance. 43 AC, for the first time since the Doom of Valyria, dragon fought dragon in the sky. Balerion the Black Dread kills Quicksilver in a swift battle above the god's eye. 50 to 60 AC, the third generation Westerosi dragons, which include Meleys the Red Queen and Caraxes the Bloodworm, were hatched. Both became important dragons for the Blacks. 90 to 100 AC, the fourth generation dragons were hatched, which included Syrax and Seasmoke. These dragons were smaller and grew slower but were more agile and nimble in the air. 100 AC, the birth of Greyhose and Tessarion. Greyhose was a wild dragon, while Tessarion was known as the Blue Queen. 107 AC, described as the most beautiful dragon, Sunfire was born. which was bonded to King Aegon II. He was a golden dragon with pinkish wings, and he was born in this year. 114 to 117 AC. The three dragons that were bonded to the Valyrian sons of Queen Rhaenyra, Vermax, Aerax, and Tyraxes were born between these years. 120 to 123 AC. The birth of the smaller dragons, which were only big enough to ride during the dance. They include Stormcloud, Shrikers, Morgul, and Moon Dancer. 129 AC. The death of Aerax by Vhagar, and also Meleys by a combined attack by Vhagar and Sunfire, directly caused the escalations to war in the Dance of the Dragons. 130 AC. The death of all the Targaryen dragons in many battles during the Targaryen Civil War, all except for Silverwing and Sheepstealer, who flew away, and Morning, who was recently hatched from an egg. 153 AC. The last dragon was born during the reign of Aegon III, and it was sickly and around the size of a house cat. Aegon then became known as the Dragon's Bane. 298 AC. After 8,000 years of inactivity, the White Walkers were sighted by the wildlings and the men of the Night's Watch. By this time, they had become just fairy tales. 299 AC. After 150 years of no dragons, the ritual done in Khal Drogo's cremation gave birth to Daenerys' dragons, which were Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. 299 to 307 AC. The White Walkers begin to gather their army of the dead to eventually destroy the Wall and march on the living, while at the same time, Daenerys' dragons, Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion were growing at a fast rate, eventually becoming adults. 307 AC. The death of Viserion and Rhaegal. Viserion was killed by the Night King, and Rhaegal was killed by scorpion bolts shot from Euron Greyjoy's ship. 307 AC. During the Battle of Winterfell, the army of the living defeats the army of the dead, and the Night King was killed by Arya Stark, and this ended the time of the White Walkers. 307 AC. After Jon Snow kills Daenerys, Drogon melts the Iron Throne and flies away with Daenerys' body to the east of Essos, him becoming the last dragon to live in this world. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Do hit the like button for support and subscribe, but most of all smash that bell icon for regular updates on new videos right here on this channel. Till the next one, take care fam.